Welcome to this week's Future Toolbox podcast. We explore the Z to A of life skills, where each letter stands for a topic and essential tool to help you get ahead in life. Meet Jules and Mark, creators of the multi-award-winning Future Toolbox, and enjoy their straightforward approach to creating growth mindsets that help people turn their dreams into realities. Whether you're a teen in education, a parent, a teacher, or part of a community group, start creating positive habits from today.
Welcome to our latest Z2A podcast with me, Mark, and Jules from the multi-award-winning Future Toolbox.
Hello and welcome.
Hello, everybody. Now, this is where we pick a letter and a topic and discuss how you can use our tools to improve your own personal development and life. So the big moment of the week is, what letter do we have?
Well, this week we have chosen the letter Y, which stands for you. And as we're in the exam season, it's all about you and making sure that you don't feel alone, and we're going to help you to prepare and take care of yourself through this season.
Yeah, so students have already started their exams. It's a stressful time. There'll be people who'll be kicking themselves and thinking, what am I doing wrong? Or I wish I'd done this better, or I wish I'd done that, or I've made this mistake or whatever. But it is about looking forward to the future and looking forward to maybe the next exam that you're just about to go into, or maybe the bits after that as well, and how you can react to everything. But self-care, massively important.
Yes, all about you. So we're going to explore different ways how you can look after yourself during the exams, the best ways that you can prepare, what you can do on the exam day, and even how you can unwind once it's all over.
Yeah, and don't forget the parents and people who in the family as well can also use these tools, because you obviously need to look after yourselves as well. Even though these people are going through some real stress, you might be feeling a little bit of the backlash or a little bit of empathy from when you was at school doing these exams, or maybe even adult exams.
Yeah, it's very stressful for the whole family, particularly as a parent or carer, is to be understanding and aware of the pressure that you're all under and how you can support that person that's going through the exams and what you can do to help them.
Now, we've done loads of podcasts on the importance of self-care in life in general, and I don't think it's something that we can just gloss over and say, well, we've done that already. People know all about self-care. People know that we should look after ourselves. But how do you switch off from time to time? So you've got a student who's getting up in the morning, the first thing they think about is, what exams have I got today? Now they've got to think about all the things they've got to do to prepare for it, and then do the exam, and then get home and then prepare for the next one. And it's just like a never-ending treadmill.
Yeah, it's an extremely hectic and stressful time. But I think one of the key things is, don't revise non-stop. You do need to make time for yourself and do something that makes you happy, because let's face it, most people are not happy doing exams.
we haven't found many people who say, we meet people who say bring on the exams, and I have actually met a few people that say they enjoy the pressure of exams, but that is in the very 0.00 something percent, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right, because if we liken this to running, which is something that we do a lot, if you're training for a marathon or a half marathon or a big race or whatever, you don't train on the day of your race. You certainly don't train the day before, and you start doing what we call tapering in the week leading up to the race. So let's say we're running a marathon. The last week or two, you're tapering, you're dropping your mileage, you're starting to relax, you're starting to stay on your feet a little bit more, so you're going to feel fresher on a race day. Now, when you've got back-to-back exams, you need to taper a little bit. So you need to bring down the time that you're studying and not just go full on. We've met a lot of students in the past where we've said, what's your biggest mistake after the exams? And one of them is people saying they sit up all night revising. And again, you might think, this is great because I'm cramming so much information into my mind to make sure I don't forget it the next day. But what does sitting up all night neglect?
Sleep.
And you need that as well, don't you?
Yes. Cram studying honestly does not work. So what we're saying is, like, if you're preparing for a race or any type of exercise like that, like we've recently been watching the Ironman.
Yeah.
Amazing event. But you have to put the work in beforehand, and as it's coming to that date of it, then you do need to take that time, as Mark says, to taper and prepare for the actual event or exam.
Yeah, we saw some people over here for the Ironman in Lanzarote last week, and they were doing a very light jog or a very light bike ride. And there was a few people out there in the sea practicing the swim bit. So if you don't know, the Ironman's a triathlon. But what they certainly weren't doing was they weren't doing sprint training. They were just keeping their legs ticking over, their arms ticking over, their bodies ticking over, making sure their bikes are okay. And that's a little bit like your mind. You need to keep it ticking over, but you don't want to go full on onto it. So, yeah, a good balance is right.
Absolutely. So, yes, in that exam period, make a bit of time to do something that makes you happy. Now, that can be all sorts of different things for different people. It might be just listening to some music that relaxes you, or drawing.
Yeah, oh, I love that.
That's a really good one. For me, cooking.
For me, eating your cooking.
Or just chilling out with your friends for a little bit. Maybe just watching a film, or just taking some time to have a relaxing evening and read a book and switch your mind off from the stress and the strains of trying to prepare for the exam.
It could even be going onto your phone and doing a bit of social media scrolling or playing a game. And we're not big fans of saying spend loads of time on social media or spend loads of time playing games, but even 2 or 3 minutes or so of just something that's just keeping the brain active. I like playing little word games. You like doing crosswords, don't you?
Oh, I love doing crosswords.
Definitely not doom scrolling. Don't do anything like that. Read the negative media or get engaged in an argument with somebody or watch stuff that's going to really stress you out. But just something really, really simple. Use technology as your friend.
But also staying connected with your friends or family and other people that may be going through what you are, and having a chat through with how you're feeling, because chances are they're feeling exactly the same, and you can chat about your coping mechanisms.
Yeah, and we use the keyword balance quite a lot of times there. It is finding the balance between being well prepared, keeping your mind active, but also switching it off in the right times. So let's put that self-care plan together. And if you're a couple of weeks into your exams and you're finding it's not working, then find ways to make it work.
Yeah, I think when it comes to studying for the exams, I think it's really important if you can find a routine that works for you. It could be forming a study group with friends or classmates. Studying together can make it a lot more fun, more enjoyable, and you can help each other with the tough topics.
Yeah, and a lot of people might sit there and say, well, why didn't we know this 2 months ago? We should have done this 2 months ago. Guys, it's not too late. There's no problem with going to hang out with some friends and say, look, we've got an exam on this coming up. Should we just go to a cafe or a library or go and sit in the park if it's nice weather? And let's just have a chat through some bits there. Now, I might say, look, I'm struggling with this part. And you might say, well, I'm really good with this part. So then we can help each other out. Or I might say, do you know what? These are my strengths here. Is there any way I can help somebody else with these? And in that casual situation, all you're doing is you're not crammed studying, you're just talking, you're just chatting away, you're mulling over a few ideas. You might find it's something that neither of you know anything about, and you can say, right, I'll go away and find out bits about A, you go away and find out bits about B, and let's come and meet again this afternoon. Or let's do that together, let's work on it together. Fabulous.
Yeah, working on it together, 2 minds working on the same thing is better than just one on your own.
Yeah, and if you've got 4 friends, 4 minds is better than one.
How about tips for the actual exam day? Because let's face it, when you know that you've got 1 or 2 exams that day, it's nerve-wracking. But a little bit of preparation can make a big difference.
Yeah, when I was at school, I remember there was a lad in our class who kept forgetting to take his pen to an exam and then get really stressed out at the start of the exam because he had to borrow a pen. And he used to think, well, hold on a second, how many exams have you got? How many times can you make the same mistake? So this is again about thinking, okay, if something hasn't gone well in the last couple of weeks, what do you actually need on that particular day? So you obviously need a pen, but you need a bottle of water maybe. If you're sitting there thinking, well, I've had a headache over the last few exams, I felt really dehydrated, try taking a bottle of water with you. I don't know if you can always take snacks into an exam, but it's about having a snack beforehand, making sure you've had your breakfast on the day, and think of all of those things that you need. And if you've forgotten them in the past, don't worry about that. Let's not forget them in the future.
Yeah, great advice there. Now, when you're actually sat there and the exam is about to begin or it's started, you might begin to feel anxious, which is quite normal. But a really simple exercise, if you start feeling anxious, is to try a breathing exercise. So breathe in through your nose for 4 counts, hold it for 2, and exhale through your mouth for 7 counts. That will help to lower those anxiety rates and help you to feel a little bit more focused and a lot more calmer. So repeat that a few times if you're starting to feel anxious. And then once the exam starts, or once you started it and you're feeling anxious and you do this, just take your time, try and relax and get yourself back to being focused.
Yeah, perhaps just pop your pen down for a couple of seconds. If there's a question you're really, really stuck on, pop your pen down and just take your focus away from the paper just for a moment or so. Just do a little bit of that deep breathing, then go back to it again. Maybe it might be time to leave that question till a bit later and come to another one that you maybe know the answer to. Now, we've always given the advice of make sure right at the start of the exam you read through every question before you start answering them.
Well, you read through the instructions before the questions. I think the instructions are more important.
Yeah, how many students have we met that have said that that's the biggest mistake they made, was not reading the exam questions properly, not reading the instructions properly, and then realising that they'd lost some marks or wasted a lot of time. So the great example we always give is, if it says read through the instructions, answer either question A, B or C. If you've answered A, B and C and then read the bit afterwards that says answer either A, B and C, you're pretty stuck, aren't you? Because you've wasted a lot of time there. And the more marks something's worth, the more effort you're going to have to put into answering it as well. So maybe do the easy questions first.
Yeah.
Get them out of the way. Get a few points on the board. If you don't know it, just asterisk or tick it or something like that and say, right, I'm coming back to that one later.
So yeah, absolutely. Read the instructions and the questions carefully and plan your answers before you start writing, because I've done that. You've started writing, you're thinking, oh, actually, no, that's not right. And you've wasted time and you've also put the wrong answers down.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, bullet points are good, aren't they? Where you can list down, I'm going to cover this, and this, and then you can tick them off as you go along. Make your little list there.
So the exam's done. It's finished. It's over.
Woohoo!
You're done for the day. What do you do now?
Well, this is the time where the self-care can kick in, but also it may be time to celebrate your hard work. I'm going to appreciate here, from my own personal experience and that of many others, that not every exam is going to feel like a celebration.
No.
Because I remember walking out of my history exam and thinking that was an absolute disaster. I never want to do that again. And I certainly didn't feel like celebrating. But the one thing that we mustn't do at this point is go home and beat yourself up and just think, right, that's it, I failed, because you're going to carry that over to the next exam. So it's time maybe just to unwind, relax, perhaps chat to a few friends, as we've said, and reach out to those people around you. And if somebody else has done better than you, celebrate their success. Give them a pat on the back and say, well done.
Yeah, but I would also say to maybe resist the urge to compare the answers with the other people that have sat the exam, because it can lead to unnecessary stress on yourself and overthinking. Somebody might tell you, this is what I put, and you maybe didn't. And then you'll spend the next 2-3 days thinking, I've got it wrong. Maybe I should have done this. I didn't do that. They've done that. And you put in that doubt and worry and anxiety into your mind. The exam's done at this point. It's finished. You can't change anything. So try not to have that conversation of, what did you say to this question? What did you put down to there? Because it's not always going to be helpful.
No, that's true. And the person that might have answered it as well, they might not have put the right answer. But we've also done a lot of work in our mindset programs on the buckets of control. We have different buckets. One bucket is the controllable bucket, which we have our own control over, and the other bucket is the uncontrollable bucket. So if we take those two buckets, taking your pen and your equipment and doing your self-care all goes into your controllable bucket, because you can control all of those things. As Jules is just saying there, once you've left that exam, that particular exam needs to be taken out of the controllable bucket and put into the uncontrollable, because now you can't do anything about it. It's in the hands of the examiners, it's gone, it's finished, it's done. And if you start stressing about the result and the grade that you're going to get, we've actually talked to people who have been in tears going to collect their exams because they're fearing the worst, because they've built that anxiety up so much from exam day to exam results day. And that time is the time you can't control. So pop it in your uncontrollable bucket and forget about it until the day comes along when you get your results. Then deal with it.
If you've got some more exams coming up after you've just finished one, think about your next steps. Plan out your study schedule for it. If it's at the beginning of the exam season, maybe like Mark said a bit earlier, think to yourself, what went really well and what could you perhaps have done differently? Maybe in the preparing for it and getting everything ready the day or the night before, something like that. But also allow yourself, like we've said earlier, to look after yourself and have that time to recharge and relax, because you will have got stressed through the exam day, or you might have felt some anxiety. So make sure you do what we said, some of those nice things that you enjoy, that things that make you happy, and have some time to relax and recharge and prepare yourself for the next day and the next exams.
I do remember actually back to my exam time, which I'll be honest with you, they didn't go very well. But I remember leaving the exams and it was glorious sunshine. It was glorious May sunshine. And I remember after each exam, we just went to the park, either with a few friends, and there was a couple of times where I actually just went myself. I remember one day just sitting in the middle of the park and just reflecting on nothing. I can't believe I didn't actually know what mindfulness was that back then. Probably wasn't a word that was massively invented, but just taking that time just to chill out before going home, and even just having a conversation with people like, oh, how did your exam go? Was it good today? What you got coming next? Just taking that time out was really, really valuable.
And you know what? If it's your last exam, enjoy the break, like you're saying. Go and have some fun with your friends. Forget about it, because it's done. It's all in that uncontrollable bucket now. You've done your bit. You've done whatever you've done as well as you possibly can. And treat yourself to something special. Do that happy dance.
Do the happy dance. Yeah. And we have to remember as well that this is a stressful time of life. If you're a teenager or you're a graduate going through exams or whatever, even if you're an adult taking exams, it doesn't matter. They don't define us as a person. We always get hung up on the grade or the pass or the fail or whatever it is. But you have to give yourself some credit for the effort that you've made. Now, again, I'm going to appreciate that there's probably some people out there who have made no effort whatsoever and will be feeling pretty rubbish at this time. And again, that's absolutely fine. It's not absolutely fine in principle, but it's absolutely fine to move on from it if you learn from it. If you can sit back and think, right, okay, look, do you know what? I didn't put in as much effort as I could have. But next time when I do something, I'm going to give it my best shot. I'm going to make sure I'm planned. I'm going to learn from the mistakes I made. That can be then your outcome for the future.
Either way, do let us know how you've got on and whether our tips have helped.
Yeah, that would be really, really good, because we give these tips all the time. And it's nice when we're in a workshop saying that's really helpful, but the podcast never tells us, does it? So do drop us a line. So how do you do that? Well, you can reach out to us. We have our website, which is futuretoolbox.co.uk, of course. But a great place to reach us is social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram and TikTok. We also have a YouTube channel with some really good exam tips on there. Plus, we're also on LinkedIn, because we are
everywhere.
Absolutely everywhere. Worldwide coverage, of course, possibly the universe. But good luck. Keep going on this journey. Remember, you've got this, and we look forward to you joining us on the next episode. Take care and see you soon.
Bye for now.
Thank you for joining us for the Z2A of Life Skills with Jules and Mark of the Future Toolbox. Don't forget to head over to their website, which is futuretoolbox.co.uk, where you can find lots of free resources, plus a host of books in the store, as well as subscribing to the membership site. Follow Future Toolbox Instagram, TikTok and Facebook at Future Toolbox, and subscribe to their YouTube channel too.